Well, a very good evening to you. Thank you for joining us. You're watching NTV Weekend Edition, and you have reached the end of the month of February. It is the 28th of the month of February 2021. We have a lot in store for you this evening, but first, here are some of our top stories. Tonight, I don't need anyone's permission to tour Mount Kenya, DP Ruto declares as he took his presidential bid to Murang'a County.
Mtu akilete ripoti ya kazi ile alipatiwa kuna makosa, anahitaji ruhusa ya mtu mwingine. Wewe hujachaguliwa na mtu unaniuliza maswali kama nani jameni?
Across the country in Western Kenya, Raila Odinga beat the drums of BBI, urging Kenyans not to be distracted by wheelbarrownomics. Also tonight, the race to 2022 is on, battle lines drawn, but who will be the chosen one?
Musali yako pale kwa rais anapiga magoti. Rais ni endorse. Kalonzo wako pale hata mimi nisaidie. Raila wako pale.
Mimi sijauliza mtu yeyote to step down for me. Acha tuende kwa uwanja. Mwananchi ndio ataamua.
Eyes on President Uhuru Kenyatta as endorsement calls grow louder. Plus,
I went into one of those very deep depressions.
Government officials speak publicly for the first time on their struggles with mental health as COVID-19 pushes many Kenyans to the brink. And
manyumba zao zilienda na maji, mashamba pia ilienda na maji.
Schools in the valley are drowning, and so are the hopes of eager learners. NTV special report with Rose Wangoi airs tonight.
This is Weekend Edition with Zainab Ismail.
And on the sign language interpretation tonight is David Agondoa. We begin where Deputy President William Ruto now says he does not need anyone's permission to tour any part of this country, noting his status as the Deputy President mandates him to traverse the country. Speaking as he toured Murang'a County, the Deputy President says he's only doing what he was jointly elected to do with President Uhuru Kenyatta. And as NTV's Kennedy Muredi now reports, the DP's allies insist President Kenyatta has no option other than to support Ruto's candidacy in 2022.
Deputy President William Ruto returned to one of his Mount Kenya strongholds, that is Murang'a County, hoping to reverse some of the gains already made by President Kenyatta, when majority of members of county assemblies from the region supported the BBI bill in their respective county assemblies. Here, the DP keen to dispel any notion of a tussle between him and his boss President Kenyatta as his sunset days as president approach. However, the DP fired a salvo, insisting he was not keen on having anyone hold his hand in the mounting, saying he knew his way.
Lazima nikuje nieleze wadosi ile kazi walinipatia na Uhuru Kenyatta imefika wapi. Mtu akilete ripoti ya kazi ile alipatiwa kuna makosa, anahitaji ruhusa ya mtu mwingine.
The DP, who spoke in church and at whistle-stop rallies, said he was the president's principal assistant and would continue traversing the country as he wished.
Muliona pale wakati rais wetu aliapishwa kuwa rais, na mimi pia nilikuwa hapo. Baada ya kuapishwa rais, nikaitwa hata mimi, nikaambiwa wewe kuja hapa, chukua Biblia na useme utasaidia rais. Simulisikia nikisema hivyo? Mtu alishakula kiapo, utamzuia afanye kazi ile alikula kiapo afanye kazi.
President Kenyatta, during a recent tour of Mount Kenya, when he hosted leaders from different cadres at the Sagana State Lodge, had called on the electorate to ignore leaders who caught the mountain without a beneficial plan for the region's 8 million voters in what was viewed as an apparent attack on the DP.
Mimi najua ya kwamba kuna watu kidogo wako na matatizo wakisikia nimetembea katika sehemu za Kenya. Lakini mimi nataka niwajulishe, mimi ni mfanyikazi.
DP Ruto's allies insist President Kenyatta had no option other than to support his deputy, whom they say has been a diligent follower of the president.
Murima hatungefaulu katika uchaguzi wa 2013. Watu wote walituhama wakatoroka, lakini dume moja tu ikabaki na sisi, na hiyo dume ikafanya tukapata 50+1. Kwa hivyo mtu wa kusahau leo aseme hatujui mema tuliotendewa na hasara number 1, huyo ni mtu ambaye ana haki dogo kama wadho.
Wakati pia tulichagua Uhuru 2013, tulijua 2022 tutapatia huyu William Ruto. Sasa anataka turudi tena kwa kitanda tulale tuote tena, na sisi ni watu busy.
The leaders of Mount Kenya region are the leaders that you see with the Hasura nation. The leaders of Mount Kenya region, there is a national shift.
The leaders also say they were not keen on the Building Bridges initiative, noting it was not a priority.
Nyinyi watu ya BBI, Hasura nation, iko na bigger agendas for this country. We have no time for BBI. Ile time tuko nayo ni ya kuja kanisa hapa Gatora, tunasaidiana kujenga kanisa.
Kennedy Muredhi, NTV.
Well, as the leaders made those remarks, ODM leader Raila Odinga has accused the deputy president and his allies of blowing hot and cold on the Building Bridges initiative instead of publicly declaring a stand. According to Raila, DP Ruto, who initially seemed to oppose the BBI, now appears to be warming up to it following the overwhelming support it received in the county assemblies. Raila was speaking in Busia County, where his allies have rubbished calls for endorsement from his NASA principals. Zakes Musame with more.
ODM leader Raila Odinga led a contingent of leaders from Western and Nyanza in attending a Sunday Mass at the St. Stephen's Luanya Catholic Church in Matai's constituency, Busia County. Raila accused Deputy President William Ruto of not being man enough to publicly choose a side. He further warned Kenyans against selecting DP Ruto as the president, citing unfulfilled promises he gave to Kenyans 8 years ago.
Kila shule, kila mtoto anakuwa na laptop. Wale ambao wanaahidi hiyo laptop sasa ni walio kwa darasa ya 8. Kufanya mtihani. Wanaona hiyo laptop. Sasa wanasahau yale ambao waliahidi vijana. Wanarudi sasa wanasema je, tunataka mtu mdogo, tunataka mama mboga, mtu mkokoteni.
Raila, who also presided over the official opening of the new ODM office at Korinda Junction, met ODM leaders from the expansive Busia County. Zakes Musame, NTV, Busia.
Meanwhile, Amani National Congress Party leader Musalia Mudavadi now says he's not banking on anyone's political backing ahead of the 2022 elections. Mudavadi, who spoke in Meru, said he had the power to run his own presidential campaign and give his competitors a run for their money.
With pressure mounting on Amani National Congress Party leader Musalia Mudavadi to get out of his Western Kenya comfort zone and tour other parts of the country, today he took cue and visited Meru County to sell his 2022 presidential agenda. Accompanied by a host of leaders in his corner, Mudavadi said he is the best bet to lead the country after the exit of President Uhuru Kenyatta, noting he was his own man, not keen on getting an endorsement from President Uhuru Kenyatta or ODM leader Raila Odinga, despite accusations that he is waiting for endorsements.
Musali yako pale kwa rais anapiga magoti. Oh, rais ni endorse. Kalonzo wako pale hata mimi nisaidie. Wetangula nisaidie. Raila yako pale, oh nilibaki risasi moja rais nisaidie.
Hii porojo ya kujaribu kusema oh somebody is saying step down for me, step down for this one. Wachana na hiyo. Wewe uza sera zako, sisi tuuze zetu, mwananchi atafanya nini? Ataamua.
NTV understands Mudavadi is putting up a team that will have a national outlook to help him traverse different parts of the country, selling his agenda towards his 2022 presidential campaigns.
Vile mulipenda Kibaki na kura zikatiririka kama mvua, mimi nawaomba tukienda mbele, vile mulimpatia kura, muniangalie vizuri.
Na mimi niko na msalia because sijawahi sikia akitukana mtu. Si ati ajui matusi, anajua hiyo maneno, but sijawahi sikia akitukana mtu. Sijawahi sikia akitumia maneno mabaya. Sijawahi sikia akitafuta vijana waende kumpigia kiongozi mwingine kelele. That is how you hold a country together.
Just last week, Mudavadi received blessings from a host of leaders from his Mulembe community for his stab at the presidency.
Wanasiasa wengine wameingia Meru, wanajaribu kuweka wa Meru kwa munada. You must tell them you cannot be auctioned.
Mimi nitamueleza Mithika Ruturi, rudi nyumbani, tengeneza boma yako, wachana na vitu ya tangatanga.
According to those close to Mudavadi, he will be meeting different teams in the coming days, keen on selling his 2022 agenda as he seeks to leave his Western Kenya backyard to his lieutenants. Kennedy Muredhi, NTV.
And still on politics, with just a few days to go for the upcoming ward by-elections across the country, supremacy battles continue to play out during campaigns as leaders drum up support for their candidates. In Makueni County, close to 10 plain-clothed police officers disrupted a church service in AIC Kitise after they started filming Makueni Governor Kivutha Kibwana was addressing worshippers. Elsewhere, Ford Kenya Party leader Moses Wetangula is calling on the police to investigate an incident where 8 members of his party were attacked. Ruth Sarmoe has this and more on the upcoming elections across the country.
As the Kithuki-Kitise ward by-elections enter the homestretch, rivalry between Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka and Makueni Governor Kivutha Kibwana, who are drumming support for the front-runners, continues to widen. Kivutha is now blaming Kalonzo Musyoka for the disruption of the church service in AIC Kitise after plain-clothed police officers stopped and interjected one of his aides while he was addressing worshippers.
You can't do that. Why are you recording the governor? Who has given you the permission?
Safari hizi zote tumefanya campaign kwa ujumla imekuwa ni ya amani kabisa. Hii jambo ikiwa kura imeshinda, wepe kubali kura imeshinda. Sio sasa kuanza kudhulumu watu. Ikiwa sasa Kalonzo anakuja huku, anakuja na polisi chungu nzima. Hiyo sio jambo nzuri ya kuja kuonyesha kwamba yeye yuko katika serikali ana polisi na kila mini county commissioner.
The two leaders worshipped at 2 different churches in Kitise Market.
We're not involved in politics or drama. We are serious. So I think he may have concocted that to gain sympathy. But people are wiser. We are very peace-loving people. We have no problem whatsoever. We are out here to ask for votes. And if indeed something nasty happened to the governor, I say poorly to him. Yeah, he's one of us. Remember, he's a Wiper governor.
In Machakos County, a team of Gema elders led a congregation of members in endorsing Mutua Katuku, one of the senatorial candidates within the county.
Pahali atatuambia tuelekee, hapo ndio tuelekea. Ametuomba kura. Hakuna mtu mwingine amekuja kutuomba kura. Na mheshimiwa Katuku ndio aliona hii nafasi. Tukaita Wakikuyu wetu wakilishi wa Mlolongo, Athi River, Machakos na Yata wako hapa.
In Kabuchai constituency, Ford Kenya Party leader Moses Wetangula continued to drum up support for his candidate Majimbo Kalasinga.
Peter, mimi nakupeleka Nairobi kuapishwa, unarudi nyumbani kuanza kazi. Kazi ya wananchi. Fika Nairobi una shida, milango yote mimi nitakufungulia. Wewe ni kuingia na kuchukua chetu na kuleta nyumbani.
Wetangula has called on the police to investigate and take action on the perpetrators of the alleged political instigated attack that left 8 people nursing injuries. In Nakuru County, campaigns at the London and Hell's Gate wards continued uninterrupted a day after the ODM party dropped their contestant in support of the Jubilee candidate. UDA party members, together with members allied to Deputy President William Ruto, drummed up support for their candidate in London ward. Ruth Sarmui, NTV.
Well, a little away from the politics, residents of Nakuru are on high alert after a swarm of desert locusts was spotted in Nakuru town this afternoon. The swarm settled on farmlands, causing panic among farmers. 20 counties in the country have so far been affected by the second invasion of desert locusts. The Food and Agriculture Organization has warned that the light showers experienced in northern Kenya and southern Ethiopia could be sufficient to allow the swarms present in both countries to mature and eventually lay eggs. FAO, however, notes that the rate of breeding is expected to be limited because of the ongoing control operations within the countries, as well as drop of rain in the coming days. All right, let's take a quick break here on NTV Weekend Edition. But remember, tonight we will be airing that special report by Rose Wangoi, Drowning Hopes, taking a look at the state of schools in the larger North Rift region and some of the challenges they're grappling with. Stay with us.
Oya ni aje, mino jonte fresh. Jumi transform go ordinary za mtush. Zenye ziuka mna hii harufu ya bail into the freshest igi koshi yote. Siri ni hii Ariel mpya ya pink. So clean, so fresh. Ma customer unaisana na hii story. Ninatumia Ariel touch of down mpya tu.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Have you seen this beautiful place?
Mommy, what is welcome to Garden of Joy?
Buy a value-added plot of land at the Garden of Joy off Kangundo Road that has solar street lights, elevated water tank, and guaranteed security. Deposit 700,000 and get 16K and your Istanbuzi is sorted. Call us on 0790 300 300.
What is family? Family is a solid foundation to build on and a strong pillar to lean on. It is believing in each one of us for the betterment of all of us. Family is working together today to win together tomorrow. It is creating opportunities for a lifetime of happiness. It is knowing we are valued, respected, understood, and most of all, supported. The future is bright because you can always bank on family. Family Bank, with you for life.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
For a better tomorrow, don't forget to do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate every night.
Nestle Nunkid 4 helps build a strong foundation for your growing child. Nestle Nunkid 4, our best for you.
This week, I'm on a mission to find out the impact of rising debts in Nigeria to citizens, businesses, and government's ability to deliver essential services.
The term cripple, kinky, or frizzy, when we talk about African hair, it's an insult because this is the terminology we use to talk about animal hair.
While it's still not citrus season, farmers here are expecting yet another bumper harvest. And so popular is South African citrus, we are now the second biggest exporter in the world.
Well, thank you for staying with us. You're watching NTV Weekend Edition. Now, 1.5 months into the reopening of learning institutions across the country, schools in the larger North Rift region are still grappling with the same problems. Flooded schools which endanger the lives of learners and teachers. At least 20 schools in the region have been flooded by waters from swelling lakes, and which is more, wild aquatic animals lurk dangerously. Parents and teachers now worry that preparations for national examinations will be affected by the calamity, which has displaced at least 10,000 people. Here is Drowning Hopes with Rose Ongui.
The sun is just rising over Lake Baringo, the rays beautifully reflecting on the calm water. We arrive at Kambi Samaki at exactly 6 a.m. along the shores of Lake Baringo, ready to embark on a tour of schools which were affected after the lake water levels increased dramatically. We're heading to Coco Island, a 30-minute boat ride from the mainland. Upon arrival, we come across dozens of children gathered at the edge of the lake. Their school is a victim of the lake bursting its banks. Dressed in yellow and green, the children sit quietly at the rocks waiting for a boat ride to school. In the past, going to school was easy. There was a footbridge that connected the island and the school. The bridge was swallowed by the rising waters in Baringo. These pictures were first captured by NTV in 2018. Then the lake was 5 meters away from Coco Island Primary School, but now it has found its way to the institution. The school gate is partially submerged and no longer in use. The teacher staff houses were also not spared. They are flooded and unlivable.
Kuna nyumba walimu kama 3 imeenda kwa maji, na kuna tena hiyo sekenge ya shule ilienda kwa ndani ya maji. Na tuliweza kungangana tu kutoa hiyo machuma, lakini otherwise ingine hajatoka. Tulipata machuma chache. Kuna choo ilienda ndani ya maji, kuna choo ya boys na kuna choo 2 tena ya girls. Na lakini tulikaa chini kama BMU members na tukasema tukadecide ya kwamba tutatengeneza choo moja yenye itaweza kusaidia.
Surrounded by water on all sides, the pupils are stuck. Here, boat transport is the main means of reaching school. Each morning, the boat goes along the lake picking up pupils. Giggling and chatting, children rush to board the boat. The available boat is too small and has to make several trips to ferry all the pupils.
Bado ni kasi kwa sababu atazunguka mara 7, 8, 9, saa zingine anaenda 10, na inategemea tena na waves. Hata jioni kama kuna waves anabeba watoto kama 10. Na tena hii motorboat inatumia mafuta mingi sana na ni expensive sana. Tunatumia kama 50 liters per day na 1 liter ni 120 kwa per day. Sasa shule ikikosa mafuta inabidi tena sasa tutumie sasa miko. ya kutumia nayo, lakini uso safe kwa sababu saa zingine kuna waves ikikuja jioni, kuna waves inatoka pande ama pande ile. Sasa waves ikikuja hata hiyo boat kulani ni shida. Na sasa hiyo ni challenges mingi sana kwa sababu wakati unafukisha hao unatumia nguvu na inataka wanaume kama 3. Sasa zingine inabidi tu mpaka ni wasasi ndio wanagaramia, lakini inabidi tu kwa sababu sasa zingine tunakosa kabisa. Sasa zingine mwalimu anangangana kwa sababu anataka tu kuona watoto kwa shule, kwa sababu anaelewa vile watu wanakaa pande. Jua watu wa pande sisi tunategemea fishing, hakuna namna nyingine. Kama ukaenda tu kwa net, kama hujapata leo samaki, suguyo bahati mbaya.
Those who own private boats charge 60 shillings per child. Not all parents can afford it. Children coming from other islands are disadvantaged as they have to find their own means to reach school. They use light rafts made from ambach tree wood. Every morning they paddle their way in makeshift, leaky rafts to reach school. For the paddles, they have to improvise and use plastic. Transport is very risky. The young learners face the danger of their tiny crafts being swamped by waves. The waters of Lake Baringo are filled with predators.
Hapa iko hipo na iko crocodile, na tunaona kwamba hiyo yote ni wanyama dangerous sana. Na hata wakati tunawafuga kwa bahari tunakuanga very careful kwa watoto kwa sababu ya hiyo maipo.
Once they arrive at school, they park their rafts at the edge of the lake, their uniforms already wet. Danger is always lacking as predators hide beneath the rocks. The school does not have a feeding program. Because of the expenses to and from school, pupils no longer go back home for lunch.
Samani walikuwa wanaenda to lunch. Wanaenda tu by saa 6:45 wanaenda, wanarudi tu saa 8 kabla hiyo saa 8. Hao bora saa kula lunch, hao wengine wana survive mpaka jioni. Wanakaa tu hivyo. Wanakunywa maji, wanakaa mpaka jioni. Na tumekaa chini tukafikiria hiyo maneno, tukaona ni hakuna mwanadamu anaweza survive mpaka hiyo saa. Tukaona kwamba labda serikali at least awapate tu kitu kukula, wapate kusurvive.
For children in lower classes, the elder siblings have the responsibility to make sure they get home safely. Classes end at 1 p.m. With the makeshift rafts, they pair in twos and wade their way slowly home. It's a tedious exercise for the young learners. Lack of paddlers means they have to improvise. Once they get home, the elder siblings have to make the journey again back to school for the afternoon classes. Lake Baringo is dotted with 7 small islands. Residents here say all the islands have been affected by the natural calamity. The islands are slowly disappearing.
Sana mvua inanyeshanga na maji inatoka pande hii. Sisi tunapata tu mvua kidogo, lakini maji mingi inatoka pande hii. Kuna hii marifa kama Perekera, kuna ingine tena iko pande inaitwa Endau. Hizo ndio inaleta maji mingi sana. Inafanya lake raise kwa haraka. Na tumeona ya kwamba hapa hata wasai ukijaribu kuangalia hapa hata hakuna mvua.
From Kokwa Island, we head to another flooded school. Maskura Primary School is partially submerged. All the classrooms, pit latrines, school administration block are flooded. The school, which was built 5 years ago, served more than 5 villages. Residents who once called this place home relocated after persistent conflict drove them away from their original homes. But when the water started rising, they were displaced yet again. Filming the institution proved to be a difficult task for the NTV crew. The school is totally inaccessible and cannot be used. All the classrooms were marooned by floods. Nasukura Primary School is among dozens of institutions that were flooded, partially submerged or completely submerged by the rising levels of Lake Baringo. The entire institution is covered by water. We can't believe that this was once a vibrant area with homestays, trading centers, a police post, and even a hospital. But all that is gone. Now, the pupils and parents have moved to higher ground, 5 kilometers away from the flooded school. With no facilities in place to accommodate them, the pupils and students now face a new unpleasant reality. The tents, which house temporary classrooms, have plastic roofs. This allows sunlight to filter in, but it also makes learning unbearable for the young learners. Unlike some schools which lost everything, here some furniture was salvaged from the old school. The primary school initially had 200 learners, but only 91 pupils have reported back to school. In PP1, 13 pupils reported to school, while only 4 pupils in PP2 resumed studies in January. Grade 1 has only 10 learners. Grade 2 has 2 pupils, while Grade 3 has 11 learners. Grades 4 and 5 have 10 learners each. Pupils were seriously affected because their homes were also flooded, forcing some families to relocate to far-off places. Others have transferred to other schools. COVID-19 is the least of the problem here. According to teachers, what keeps learners in school is the feeding program.
Ili ifutie hiyo idadi kamili ijae, lazima niwe na chakula yenye naweza lisha wao, wakule wawe na nguvu. Wanafunzi wanalala bila kupata chakula. So hata asubuhi inabidi aende, wako na changamoto wanaenda kufua samaki. Hao watoto wadogo wanaweza pata hii kanuni, unapata wameendesha, wanaenda kufua samaki, kuna ready market. Sasa watoto wengi wako kazi ya samaki, kufua samaki.
The end to the problem is in sight for Nasukra Primary School. 10-acre piece of land has been donated by the community. However, they lack the workforce to help clear the land and set up permanent structures. The school management is waiting for 2 million shillings promised by the Ministry of Education to relocate and build infrastructure. Our next stop is Salabani Mixed Day and Boarding Secondary School, which was situated along the shores of Lake Baringo. Navigating to the school is a hard task due to the vast swath of trees, twigs and branches that have been deposited in unwanted locations. The school's infrastructure was submerged. Everything is under the waters of the swollen Lake Baringo, including classrooms, library and administration block. The water has covered the entire school compound up to the walls of the classrooms. Only the red rooftop is visible, and twigs that stick out of the mass of water in an area that once hosted the institution. The school was relocated to a new site more than 5 kilometers away from the flooded area. As soon as the water level started rising, the school administration managed to salvage laboratory equipment, desks and books from the school and ferried them using boats. Form 4s are studying in a temporary classroom made of the corrugated iron sheet walls with openings cut out for ventilation. Even so, the room is not satisfactory.
Saa hii wanasomea darasa 2 ya mabati na ni jua ni kali. Najua mabati ni joto sana wakati huu.
Form 3s and 2 study under trees and have had to bear the brunt of the scorching sun, an environment they are forced to adapt to as a school.
Hata wako karibu na barabara, pikipiki ikipita huko, gari ikipita huko. Unajua lazima watoto wakiona gari ama pumbi ama pikipiki wataangalia.
The situation is not any better for the teachers. They too have to operate from under a tree.
Tumepata NGO 2 ambayo umetusaidia. Wengine umetusaidia choo, wengine umetusaidia madarasa 2 ya mabati. Na saa hii kuna ujenzi ya madarasa 2 kupitia CDF. So hiyo bado haitoshi. Kwa sababu administration block bado hatujakuwa nayo. Walimu saa hii wanafanya chini ya miti kwa staff room.
At night, the students sleep under tents as they await the government to construct classrooms and dormitories for them.
Zamani kabla mafuriko kuingia, wasasi hawakuwa na shida sana ya pesa kwa sababu walikuwa wanakata miti, wanachoma makaa ya prosovis na wanapata mahali kidogo ya kuuza. Lakini wakati huu hizo mamiti zote zimesombwa na maji. Kwa hivyo wasasi wengi saa hii hawana mahali mzuri ya kuweza kujitegemea kukata makaa. Pia manyumba zao zilienda na maji, mashamba pia ilienda na maji. Kwa hivyo hata saa hii kupata pesa ni Mungu tu peke yake. Watu hata saa hii kusurvive kupata chakula inakuwa vigumu.
All these are unwelcome distraction for the students of Salabani Mixed Secondary School. Social distancing among the students is not observed.
Kwa wakati huu sasa ni wakati ambaye corona inatangazwa kwa Kenya mzima, na hata watoto pia hawajakuwa na mask ya kutosha kwa wakati huu. Tungeomba pia serikali watuongezee mask kwa hao watoto. Wakati huu sasa ni pesa ni ngumu kupatikana, hata karo ya shule. Ingawaje tunasikia serikali wanasema watoto wasifukuzwe, lakini watoto watafukuzwa tu kwa sababu mwalimu anasema hakuna chakula. Sasa watoto watakula nini wakikaa kwa shule?
The story is the same at Gambo Girls Secondary School. Here, the infrastructure was fully submerged under the waters of the swollen Lake Baringo. When schools reopened in January, stranded learners were merged with students of Lake Bogoria Girls Secondary School, which was spared the flooding. The institution initially had 600 learners. Over 200 students from Gambo Girls Secondary School were placed here. The school now has a population of 800 students. Classes are congested with about 50 to 60 learners in one class.
Ukiangalia watoto wa Ngambo walikuwa nyuma kidogo kuliko hawa wengine. Sasa itabidi saa hii tena walimu wafanye kazi ngumu ili waweze kurejesha watoto hawa wakuwe sawa na wale wa Ngambo. Kwa hivyo tungeomba kabisa kama ni kuongezewa walimu tuweze kuongezewa walimu.
The school does not have enough classrooms to meet the social distance guidelines set by the government.
Tunajaribu ama walimu wanajaribu kuhimiza watoto waweze kunawa mikono na pia at least wakuwe na hiyo social distance kidogo.
The distance is not possible to observe because not all schools can afford new classrooms. So what is being observed is the mask. All schools have thermogun. They are able to check temperatures every day and know if there's anybody in danger. But so far, we don't have a case. In fact, Marigat sub-county has not had any case of corona since it started.
Some classes have to be conducted under trees due to lack of sufficient classrooms. This subjects them to the vagaries of weather such as strong winds, dust, and the scorching sunshine. Lack of space means what used to be a store is now the teacher's staff room. The school has only 3 dormitories, which cannot cater for all 800 students.
Kila moja imejaa. Ingine kuna inafaa watoto 80 walale lakini ni wasichana 100. Alafu ingine inafaa wasichana 100, wasichana 110 wanalala.
The institution has now been forced to convert the dining hall into a dormitory.
Wenye wanalala hapo ndani ni wasichana 350. Wasichana wawili wanalala kwa kitanda kimoja. Hakuna hata nafasi ya hawa kutembea ndani. Wanalala tu hivyo, wakiamka asubuhi wanakaa sana tu kimaisha.
With the first term of the school year already underway, the institution is finding it hard to accommodate the huge number of students due to lack of infrastructure.
Maji ile kidogo tunapata ni ile principal anatunulia kwa county. Hiyo maji sasa ndio inatumika kukunywa. Watoto wanatumia kukunywa. Yenye tunatumia sasa hivi kuosha nguo, kutubia jikoni, ni ile inapambiwa kwa mtoni. Tunaomba wahisani watusaidie kutuchimbia maji safi ili tusikuwe na shida ya magonjwa, watoto wakunywe maji safi.
When the government delayed to release the funds, parents of Ngambo Girls Secondary School conducted a funds drive and constructed makeshift classroom at a new site located 9 kilometers away from the submerged institution. The move is meant to provide an alternative learning environment for the more than 200 students. Learners are yet to relocate due to lack of infrastructure. At the submerged Lake Baringo Mixed Secondary School, a newly constructed laboratory, 2 dormitories, 4 classrooms, kitchen and 2 toilets have been swallowed by the lake waters, including the playing field. The school, which is totally inaccessible, incurred a loss of more than 50 million shillings after it was submerged. According to parents, the government had promised to release some funds for the institution to relocate and build infrastructure, but no money has been released by the Ministry of Education.
There you have it, just the end of the part 1 of Drowning Hopes. And someone is asking if this is in Kenya. Indeed, it is a reality on the ground on that part of the country. But many are asking, what are the leaders doing? The second part will be coming after this break. Stay with us.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
For a better tomorrow, don't forget to do the 1, 2, 3 with Colgate every night.
You have worked so hard. Now your project is nearing completion. You now need to crown your labor. For over 50 years, East African Cables has been a premier manufacturer of high-quality electrical cables, manufactured to international standards for the region, giving you the reliability and safety you deserve. We manufacture an extensive range of power cables for applications in domestic and industrial wiring. Our work speaks for itself. Get in touch. Let's talk cables. Kumbuka, wire see wire. East African Cables, connecting lives.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Beat sensitivity pain fast with Sensodyne Rapid Action for clinically proven relief in 60 seconds.
Swelling lakes have partially or completely submerged up to 17 schools in Baringo County, 12 primary, 5 secondary, and 22 early childhood institutions.
There are schools affected in Baringo North, there are schools affected in Pokot East, but Pokot East is one school, and Baringo North, two schools. The ones that are partially submerged are in use. Maybe if the toilets are submerged, they are being done, but those schools are in use. The ones that were completely submerged have found land elsewhere. Children are affected in terms of school and their homes. They also lost their homes. They have moved to different places. So children who have not reported in the schools which have moved is because their parents might have moved to another place and they are attending schools, the nearest school to where they have moved.
With no sign of the waters receding, communities here have provided alternative land for construction of new education facilities.
These lands have been allocated by Ministry of Lands. They have been, the government department of survey have surveyed them and given allotment later, and they are far from the lake.
In 2020, the Ministry of Education deployed a team to survey the affected schools and promised to allocate funds to relocate the schools and rebuild them on safer grounds.
The minister has already indicated that they are going to send money to schools that were affected to take care of toilets that were submerged. There were schools where dormitories were submerged. And we have done the paperwork, and the ministry have promised to quickly deal with that. It is the speed with which the reconstruction has been done that is worrying, because if the rainy season comes again before the classrooms are moved from under trees, then it will be a challenge. I think that is the main thing. But we are appealing to everybody, well-wishers, government, to see into it that these children are taken care of so that they don't feel the disaster in their heads, so that they learn like any other child in Kenya.
There are very many calamities around Lake Baringo, around Lake Victoria. We have challenges and we are dealing with them. And as rains continue to pound, the government is very much aware through the Interministerial Committee that we shall deal with each situation as it arises. The two schools in Baringo that cannot be rehabilitated again, we have given 10 million shillings each to one of them to start the process. First of all, you have to identify new land and proceed with the rehabilitation. Those who have moved to other schools and were small, they have been given 4 million shillings around Baringo to ensure that the children are comfortable. Once the land issues are done, we are rebuilding them. The third one, who only accepted on the day of opening, will not have to wait for money to come from somewhere. But in the meantime, as far as the children are concerned, the children are in school. Some of them have been adopted by other schools nearby. If the population is large, we are even happy that they are learning in tents outside. So there is no child, as I speak, that will have no place to go. And like we have given 10 million, when more money comes in July, we shall prioritize, and those schools most likely will be ready to be reoccupied.
You know, other Kenyans right now are ready to do the exams. They are counting days. My students, my pupils are counting days under trees, which is not right at all. And I want to urge the Ministry of Treasury that please, can you release this money that has not been released to the Ministry of Education so that they can now reconstruct these classes. At least we get something, a shelter. When our pupils or students, candidates are doing their exams, they have an opportunity, at least somehow relevant to the exam.
But until new classrooms are built, learners will have to cope with the new normal of congested classrooms, studying under trees and makeshift structures. Rozongoi, NTV, in the county of Baringo.
A heartbreaking report there by Rose Wangoi on the state and the situation of schools, and especially for the learners and teachers in Baringo County. A lot of feedback as well. We'll be taking a look at some of that on our social media platforms at NTV Kenya. The hashtag is Drowning Hopes. We'll be reviewing some of that and sampling some of them during the course of this bulletin. You can continue engaging us on our social media platforms. The hashtag is Drowning Hopes. Let's take a break. We'll be back.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
This looks different.
It is. See for yourself.
Okay. So it's a photo.
Look closer. Photos within photos.
What about video?
8K video. Beyond cinema quality.
So...
You can pull portrait quality photos straight from video.
But will it last the whole trip?
Battery for the whole trip and the way back.
This is different.
Told you.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Do your gums hurt? Yeah. Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile? All that in one toothpaste? Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums. Ah, Colgate Herbal. Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
Kijani Ridge is Tatu City's premier neighborhood, offering a 1.25 acre fully serviced plot in a controlled development. The plots overlook a beautiful dam with natural green spaces. Kijani Ridge is a walking distance from Nova Pioneer and Crawford International Schools. Families are already moved in and more homes are under construction. Contact us for daily site visits and join us for our mega open weekend on 6th and 7th March.
Nestle Nunkid 4 helps build a strong foundation for your growing child. Nestle Nunkid 4, our best for you.
Thank you for staying with us. Let's shift our focus to the COVID-19 situation in the country now, where the Health Ministry says the COVID-19 vaccine will arrive in the country from Tuesday next week. However, first priority will be given to healthcare workers across the country. Meanwhile, 325 people tested positive out of a sample size of 3,282 tested in the last 24 hours, bringing the national caseload to 105,973. 69 patients have recovered, 58 from the home-based care isolation, while 11 from various health facilities. Total recoveries now stand at 86,678. Unfortunately, 2 patients succumbed to the disease, pushing the fatalities to 1,856. A total of 347 patients are currently admitted in various health facilities countrywide, while 1,495 patients are on home-based isolation and care, as 58 patients are in the intensive care unit. Another break we'll be taking. When we come back, we'll be taking a look at the world of sports and what's been happening there.
Family is working together today. It is creating opportunities for a lifetime of happiness. The future is bright because you can always bank on family. Family Bank, with you for life.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Molfix. Let's see what they're developing right now.
Molfix pants with anatomic fit technology. New Molfix pants, an invention from babies for babies.
You should also try Molfix.
Raukia siku njema na tunukiwa offers kila siku. Pata offers zote mahali pamoja ili uongeze zaidi, utume SMS zaidi na ubrowse zaidi.
Wewe usijali. Tuma namba ya kila supplier kwa hiyo soko. Nitajua vile nitaongea na kila mmoja wao.
Very good. Piga *444 hash utunukiwe Credo double.
Raukia siku njema na tunukiwa offers kila siku.
New Tuzo Yogurt Cup. Size yako, bei yako.
Like every mother, I'm worried about dangerous insects, especially mosquitoes, which spread diseases like malaria to my loved ones. This year, I'm not afraid. I'm using Mortein Doom. Mortein Doom All Insect Killer provides protection in seconds. Not even a single mosquito is spared. Because even one mosquito bite can cause malaria. Mortein Doom provides protection in seconds.
Baby shark, Have you seen this beautiful place?
Mommy, what is welcome to Garden of Joy?
Buy a value-added plot of land at the Garden of Joy off Kangundo Road that has solar street lights, elevated water tank, and guaranteed security. Deposit 700,000 and get 16K and your Istanbuzi is sorted. Call us on 0790 300 300.
Nestle Nunkid 4 helps build a strong foundation for your growing child. Nestle Nunkid 4, our best for you.
All right, to sports now, and KCB missed a chance to close in on league leaders Tusker today, losing 3-0 to Kariobangi Sharks in a FKF Premier League match played at Kasarani today. At the Bukhungu Stadium, FC Leopards beat Kakamega Homeboys 2-1. Clyde Senaji and Elvis Rupia scored the goals for Ingwe in the first half, while Alan Mwanga pulled one back for the hosts. The win ended Leopards' 5-match winless streak against the same opponent at this venue and proved crucial to Ingwe's chances of winning its first league title in 22 years. Leopards are currently at position 4 with 25 points, tying closely with third-placed Bandari. Elsewhere, Posta Rangers suffered their second consecutive loss, falling 2-1 to Sofapaka. Weekend losers Tusker lead the log on 32 points, 6 ahead of KCB. Sharks moved to 5th on the log with 24 points. And Gospel Women has booked a sport in the FKF Women Cup quarter after beating Makolandas 7-0 today at the Ruiru grounds in Kiambu County. Diana Washera opened the scores for Gospel Women in the 27th minute. Her teammate Elizabeth Wamboi added the second as Vivian Aquino closed the first half scores at 3-0. Leah Andiema netted a goal in the 81st minute, with Winnie Kanyotu scoring a brace in the 82nd and 86th minutes. 1 minute before regulation time, Lavina Chola scored the final goal for the final 7-0 scoreline. And teenager Gideon Rono won the 5,000-meter race during the second day of the first leg of the Athletics Kenya track and field weekend meeting at Nyayo Stadium today. The Baringo-born Form 4 student won the race in 13 minutes and 21.2 seconds. National cross-country champion Rogers Kwemoy settled for second place ahead of Daniel Simiyu, who took third. In the women's 400-meter race, national record holder Helen Siomboa stopped the clock at 53 minutes 72 seconds to win the race. Gladys Musyoki followed in second as Evangeline McKenna took third. In the 10,000-meter women's race, Daisy Cherotich won after clocking 32 minutes and 19.1 seconds. Evelyn Chirchir in second and Joyce Chepkomboi in third completed the podium places. And the defending National Women's Volleyball Champions League, Kenya Prisons beat Nairobi Prisons by straight sets in the Kenya Volleyball Federation National League. In the match played Nyayo Indoors Arena today, the holders won in sets of 25-15, 25-16 and 25-16. This is Kenya Prisons' second win in as many days after beating Nairobi Water 3-0 on Saturday. In other matches today, KCB beat Kenya Pipeline 3-1. Pipeline won the first set 25-23 before Bankers won the rest in a record of 25-21, 25-19 and 25-17. And that's all we had lined up for you this hour. Many thanks for watching. We were going to review some of the feedback with regards to that special report by Rose Wangoi on the drowning hopes, but we ran out of time. But we'll be taking a look at what will be happening, especially by the response by the government, both national and county governments, on the same, and we'll be airing that as well in the consecutive coming days. And remember, you can still continue engaging us on Drowning Hopes. That's the hashtag at NTV Kenya, at Rose Wangoi, as well as at Zainab Ismail. My name is Zainab Ismail. Our sign language interpreter this evening was David Agondoa. Good evening.
This is NTV.